as a traumatic ordeal. Or see Maningamnisi Eyewitness News in Pretoria.
A sewage spill into a wetland in Durban has been described as one of the worst environmental disasters by Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation, Jack Bloom. Bloom has been conducting oversight visits across eThekwini, specifically focusing on the municipality's wastewater treatment works. Today, the Deputy Minister was at the Amanzi Mtoti Golf Club south of Durban, where sewage leaks have led to a foul stench in the area. Tabiso Goba was there.
Astonished, to be honest. This is like probably the worst one. This must be the worst one I've seen. And I've seen plenty worse in Gauteng, I must tell you, but...
Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation Jack Bloom was almost at a loss for words as he observed a contaminated wetland near the coast.
Pirates, and Kimi Antonelli fastest in Dutch Grand Prix sole practice session.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 27 and 28 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Suspended MP Fadil Adams' testimony before the Madlanga Commission has concluded for the day, with a new witness set to take the stand this afternoon.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome to the Drive show. John Perlman is not here. My name is Thabo Shalemasha. I'm happy to be with you all the way till 6. The entire team is here as well. Karabo Malapile presses all the buttons and she's the technical producer of the show. The other Karabo is in charge of traffic. Everything else that you need to know about the roads, which traffic light is working and which route to prefer because others may be jam-packed. Of course, we have Jonathan Ferb and Kabazela, together with Rifue, being the big chefs of the show and putting everything together, and Jew right at the center. Thanks very much for joining us. Just to give you a bit of heads up as to what to expect on the show between now and 6 o'clock. John is not here, but the features have not changed. I haven't moved any furniture whatsoever. Randall's One Song is also here in a short while. And but more importantly, how much are you paying for electricity? Is it too much? When you approach your municipality or your provider, do they give you some sort of relief? Well, there's some good news in the offing as the pricing of tariffs is being reviewed. It might just be that you may pay a little bit less. Democracy is something that we all love, right? We believe it's a right system, but often it gives us the worst among us, the loudest, and the ones who are only pointing and criticizing the most end up being in charge of all of us. I won't mention any names, but they are littered throughout the political spectrum, through political parties that we vote for. Do you ever regret voting for someone wherein you say, if this was not about popular vote, this person would not even run a spaza shop. But because we do not vote appropriately, we give the worst among us unnecessary power. And a little bit later on the show, we will also speak to the great James Ngobo about a Motown play at the Joburg Theatre, and just to catch up with them and understand what is it that they have for you this weekend and on subsequent weekends. I spoke a little bit about rent. He will dissect it, analyze it for us, and give us some perspectives which we did not know about the song. 9 after 3. Garabo, the show has officially begun.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Welcome to the show. You must be confusing this show with someone else, right? With another show that begins a little bit earlier on. No, but I always look forward to that. I always look forward. Are you good, man?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Tubbs, and you?
I'm chilled. Mr. Charlie, you good?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm chilled. Guys, have you ever thought of something and you convinced yourself that this was truly the impression? And you had this impression in your head. It could be about your boss. Maybe your boss has not been talking to you for the past 3 days and you thought, I'm just about to be fired. And you convinced yourself that, oh no, I must have done something. They're afraid to tell me and I'm going to be fired. Or maybe the missus at home, Kabazela. The missus was just a little bit off for the past few days. And you thought maybe she found another love somewhere since she's been singing that wonderful piano song. Maybe she's found another guy at work and you no longer met her. And you convinced yourself and you were so sure. Yet you were wrong. You were wrong. Completely wrong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I'm asking that.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine, a very, very good friend of mine, whom I consider a brother, through our mutual friend, has expressed that he feels that I do not want to be friends with him anymore. He feels that I've been distant. He feels that I'm not answering his phones. He feels his calls. I'm not answering his calls. He feels that I'm just a little bit cold, right? And
I
so,
can see why he would think that.
oh wow, Wow. So he feels that way, and he couldn't be far from the truth, even if he wanted to be. There's nothing like that. It's just that I've been extremely busy and nothing else. You know, so have you ever convinced yourself of something and you are 100% wrong? There's, by the way, before you come in, Kabazela, there's a song to that effect.
Oh, yes.
There's a song to that effect. Mariah Carey sings about it.
Oh.
And it's called It's All in Your Mind.
I know you think my love is slipping away. Baby, it's all in your mind. Yes. Don't worry. Hold on tight and hear me when I say, baby, it's all in your mind.
Baby, it's all in your mind. Kabazel.
Yeah, I mean, our minds, people's minds are active, and sometimes these are probably based on our own insecurities.
Yes.
And then, there could be something that amplifies it. So, it might be an interaction that I have with you, and then it triggers something in my head, and then that's where it just goes and it spirals and goes and goes and goes, because you just think,
the
crazy
very
things.
worst.
Yeah, you think the very worst. So, if I've been in those situations, many times, I can't think of specific examples, but there was a incident maybe in our golf group.
Yeah.
There's about 16 guys, and there's a captain in our golf group. And I kind of felt a little bit of coldness coming from him.
Yeah.
And then my head was going as well. I was thinking, well, what have I done? What did I do? What did I say something?
Yeah.
And then eventually I just was like, okay, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in just fretting over these things.
Yeah,
So I asked,
exactly.
and he was like, what?
What are you talking about?
No, there was nothing. Whether he was telling the truth
That's
is another story.
thing. That's another thing,
You know?
hey?
But yeah, I think it happens all the time.
Yeah.
where
Were you
we
not
just get
dating his
in our
girlfriend or
heads.
something?
Pardon?
Did you not tell me that you're dating his girlfriend or something like that?
That's
You're
not
captain?
for public consumption, Tabo. He's like,
Now he knows. There was something there. You, Mr. Charlie?
Yeah, so there's this colleague of mine, I won't name them, but we usually troll each other. Like, sometimes it can get, can overdo it, you know? So like...
this person in the room.
No. So we usually troll each other, but then there was some times where it kind of stopped, and I felt maybe I went too far.
Yeah.
And I was not sure if I really offended him or not, because he was, quiet and like keeping to himself. And then I let time go. Maybe after a week, I was like, yo, man, did I say something wrong?
Yeah, you okay?
And then he was just like, no, it's not about you. I lost a relative, so I was just not feeling in the mood to do jokes and troll each other. I just wanted to keep to myself.
But it's amazing how we always think it's us.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put the mirror, you look into a mirror and you immediately, take yourself apart, and you're thinking, it must have been something that I said or did. My helper this morning as well said to me, is there something that I have done to you that you didn't like? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she says, I saw you ironing your shirt the other day. Even yesterday you were ironing your jeans. Did I do something wrong? I'm like, no, I was just in a hurry. That's all.
I'm not judging here, but there is a pattern where people in your life are starting
Common
to say
denominator
things about you.
Well, let us know. Have you ever been wrong, completely wrong about something, and it was all in your mind? Do share with us on 072 702 1702, or just call us on 011 883 0702. 16 minutes after 3 o'clock. Traffic is definitely on your mind, and it could be a reality. Mr. Charlie, what's happening on our roads?
Well, nothing much really happening at this hour, I must say. Highways looking pretty clean at this stage. No accidents have been reported. However, if you're in the Sharon Lee area, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Malibongwe Drive between the N1 and Belez. Look out for those faulty traffic lights. That's in the Edenville area at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck. Traffic lights also out of order in Lone Hill at Lone Hill Boulevard and Main Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
Karinda Chakmohan is joining us from EWN, and she's got the very latest on what took place at the Madlanga Commission as Fedil Adams, the suspended MP, was withholding some information from the commission itself. Karinda, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the show again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me again.
He's still on the hot seat, the center of debate, Fedil Adams. And what was he withholding?
Certainly, withholding so much information. In fact, we just heard this afternoon that he did not form either the ad hoc committee or the ad hoc committee in Parliament or the Commission, that he had met with IDAC investigator Dylan Perumal quite late in the evening on the January 6, 2025, after his meeting with advocate Trishantha Ramsamy. And in fact, several parts of his A1 statement, that's essentially a supplementary affidavit to a Section 27 referral, was changed on that evening, with him claiming that Perumal was on the phone with Andrea Johnson for quite a while, with her saying she wants more meat added to the statement. This is something we didn't know, because for a long time Adams had suggested that parts of his statement was altered without him knowing anything about this. But now it seems that he himself was the person who knew about alterations to the very same statement. Now, his testimony has concluded. For now, he needs to submit a supplementary affidavit because there are many questions that are yet to be answered, including the fact that he claims the Section 27 referral that he submitted had information that was missing, and that was not the original document. The Commission said, well, please go and find the original document on your computer. He was unable to do that. And quite many other aspects. We also heard that he was not forthcoming in his report. Have any contact at the Orlando police station, and he said no. But now this morning he actually said that he was accompanied to the Orlando police station to open those criminal charges against crime intelligence officers, charges which have since been withdrawn. He went there with a handler of Brown Mahotsi, someone who's also connected to General Khan, and the commission saying, well, you were not, this was actually a deliberate withholding of information because you knew that this could implicate you. So quite a lot coming out of his testimony.
Very much so. I mean, I think this pattern has played itself out a million times since he's been on the hot seat, Karinda. And the reaction of the evidence leaders, and including the commissioners, is it still that of skepticism towards him?
Absolutely. In fact, all three commissioners, Commissioner Beloy, Commissioner Kumalo, Chairperson Madlanga, have said that they suspect that either Adams deliberately withheld information or he was being used as a pawn to advance the concerns of IDAC, or what IDAC wanted to do at the time, the alleged criminal elements within IDAC. Not something that they said, but something that has been alluded within the commission. In fact, even there is this word machinations that has come out today with both Commissioners Beloy and Kumalo saying that it seemed like there was a deliberate attempt to have Adams be the scapegoat of something that came out of IDAC. And this is regarding those criminal charges against General Dumisani Kumalo and others who we saw today. Those charges have been withdrawn. And we also heard Adams say that he would have done anything to have those charges continue forward, sign any document. And that's really what he did. He signed every document that IDAC gave him, even if those documents were edited late at his house with a surprise visit by Dylan Perumal. So something that has frustrated the commission really, and has raised suspicion among evidence leaders about what exactly Adams is speaking about when he withholds information and seems to flip-flop, as one would say. He also has not been forthcoming about timelines too. He says that he first went to the DA's Ian Cameron and then Parliament's Portfolio Committee, which Cameron chairs, with his classified documents before he went to IDAC. But then it turns out that was not true at all. And he says, oh, well, he forgot. He can't recall the timelines. But it seems like he is deliberately sort of withholding that information, and many more allegations around his alleged meetings with the IGI as well. So the commission left really with the question in the air: is Adams being truthful with regards to what he says? And we'll only have more information from his supplementary affidavit because remember, it was Wednesday when he insisted that the commission get those recordings of his meeting with IDAC. And he then said, well, he doesn't want those recordings to be played anymore. After reviewing it, it was played, and we see it was because he wasn't telling the truth.
Karinda, it looks like we'll be speaking to you every single day now because this is untangling itself in the most interesting way. Karinda Jagmohan, EWN reporter, 22 minutes after 3 o'clock.
Because this journey is better taken together.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
Nkosikhona Malinga Mnisi is EWN reporter. He's with us in the studio to give us more light on NPA withdrawing charges against Khumalo and Co. Welcome. I hope you're well, Nkosikhona.
Yeah, good afternoon, Taba. You still free?
Forever,
Wonderful.
I hope. This is very interesting. I mean, a sigh of relief must have been the way to describe how Mokwele and others must have felt when those charges were withdrawn today.
Absolutely, Taba. In fact, when the magistrate then made the pronouncement after being informed by the state that you're essentially free to go home without any criminal matter on your back, you saw Brigadier Dineo Mokwele just bow her head. I think it really set in because we've known about this for some time now. Initially, the indication from the NPA was that it would be a provisional withdrawal. But now the case has been withdrawn in its entirety. All the charges are now gone. So I think seeing it play out practically inside court today was, for all of those 7 now former accused senior crime intelligence officials, so surreal.
Yeah.
And then we had the opportunity there in Tabo after court to speak to a couple of them. And that relief you speak about was really what resonated many of their statements, saying that they're glad the truth is now out. But also quite an interesting point that I picked up was sentiments around how this has essentially exposed the need for institutional reform, where you speak about the criminal justice system. And I could only think about the fact that it would have seemed as if there was this tussle between IDEC as well as crime intelligence, because all the evidence presented for one at Madlanga essentially points to targeting. And for example, the divisional head of crime intelligence, General Dumsani Kumalo, saying it's quite worrying that this is essentially the point at which we are currently at, Tambo.
Weaponizing of institutions. I think we're seeing it all over again.
100%.
Where do we go from here? Are those who were responsible for these false charges going to be made to account, Nkosikhona?
Well, Taba, what we do know from the former accused officials of crime intelligence, at least some of them that we had the opportunity, as I said, to speak to, as well as their legal representatives, is that there does seem to be intention to institute civil litigation as it pertains to, responding to this failed project. NPA of the systems and the structures and how things really are and how they work at the investigating directorate against corruption being IDAC. Of course, we're still waiting for the announcement of an acting head of that institution. But simply from the NPA side, there is then this what would seem to be a deliberate and intentional move to want to review how things are. The spokesperson, Keza Khanyago, when we spoke to him earlier, even indicating that people will be vetted, for example. So there does seem to be, this intentional approach to really relook. And I suppose it speaks to the point that Brigadier Mokwele was making, that this, for us, more so was an opportunity for the country to see the desperate and urgent need for there to be as things are and how things are happening in the criminal justice system?
I would assume that Lieutenant General Mkonazi, at this point, he feels that he was not off the mark, and he was telling the truth all the time, and he was being targeted as well, as much as Khumalo in this instance. And I suppose it gives credence to the establishment of the commission to a large extent.
100%. And I must say, Thabo, as someone that was quite skeptical when this commission was initially set up.
You and I both.
I'm happy to retract my skepticism.
And it
mentioning him in her prepared media statement that she read out to members of the media, saying, you know, she thanks him for taking the risk and taking the chance in hindsight to tell the nation about what he had looked into and the need for it to be investigated further. Also singling out the Madlanga Commission, the investigators, as well as the commissioners and evidence leaders, because it's quite interesting, Thabo, that the independent review, because of course you know that there were representations made by specifically the ones that I had an opportunity to see by the lawyers representing Brigadier Magwili to the NPA. And in fact, when the NPA had then indicated that it would be a provisional withdrawal, the lawyers again wrote back and said, but this case simply does not stand. Just wipe it out. She said, seriously, and, you know, because she holds a very important critical position, especially in the context of crime intelligence, being the head of technical support services. So you can imagine how instrumental her unit is to the full functioning of crime intelligence. So she did also thank her colleagues. She said she received a lot of respect during her time going to work. She said she continued, and I think how I really would like to sum it up, she said she still, and I suppose believes, in fact, precisely, she says, I believe in South Africa. And I think that was the point she was making around why she went back confidently so to work, and says this is now an opportunity for her to rebuild. But in the words of her lawyer, James Ndebele, he says heads will roll for this mess.
From EWN, Nkosikhona Malinga Mnisi, giving us the very latest on those charges being withdrawn, Khumalo and co. More is
your share of 1 million rand in cash. Ready to go full throttle? Bet 10 rand or more on JetX, and you could jet off to the United counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Peregrine Capital presents Brian Habana's Count to 100.
In my journey to 100, it started with my first cap, then my second, 10th, 50th, 90th, 99th.
Brian Habana, his 100th international test.
You get to 100 one decision at a time. For 28 years, Peregrine Capital has applied that same discipline to turn 1 million rand into 100 million. Peregrine Capital. Invest in performance. An authorized FSP. Past performance not indicative of future performance. T's and C's apply.
(702) 1702.
Hi, Tabo and the team. My question is with regard to Brigadier Mukwele. If she sue, whom will she sue? Will she sue individuals from IDEC, or will she sue IDEC as an institution? If she sue IDEC as an institution, then it means that Tawa and I will have to pay for that. I don't know. Maybe she must wear her ethical hat. David in Melrose.
Hi, 702 listeners. Hey, Tabo. My name is Queen. My supervisor calls me Queenie. So, a week or so ago, she sends me a message and she addresses me as Queen, and she says she wants to see me. Hey. That night, I was asking myself what happened, what did I do, what did I not do. So the following morning, go to work. I leave my things in the car and I go straight to her office. We talk and there was nothing. I go, I get my things in the car, and as I was walking back to the office, she's like, why do you only have your things now? And I'm like, the way I was so nervous. I left everything in the car and I just wanted to hear what you had to say. And she's like, why? And I said, no, because you said Queen instead of Queenie.
Hey, Tivos, you can't be saying that the guy is your friend.
and you came to a conclusion that there's something wrong. You convinced yourself that there's definitely something wrong. It could be your boss. You thought your boss was avoiding you, and perhaps you're about to be fired. And there was nothing like that. It was all in your mind. Let us know on 072 702 1702. 20 minutes to 4 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
To attend, Tolagele Mganga will give us the very latest in the sporting world. Hi, Tolagele. What's the latest?
Hi, Tabo. Well, rugby's greatest rivalry series officially kicks off tomorrow as Ellis Park plays host to the first test between South Africa and New Zealand. Damien Dielenda will earn his 100th cap, while the Bucks are looking to win a 14th test match in a row. The last time the double world champions were in action was at the beginning of this month against Argentina, and Damien Willemse has discussed how they've been preparing for this game.
It's a huge honor for us to be part of these match weeks and part of this tour. I mean, obviously for us, we try and do our preparation as best as we can and just try and enjoy each other's company. Obviously, hard rugby, but also to find moments to enjoy each other's company off the field and just try and de-stress. So yeah, that's been what we've been trying to do this week, going out for team dinners and stuff. We obviously really focused on the game and, we want to win the first one.
The MTN 8 first leg semi-finals take place this weekend as Mamelodi Sundowns clash with Lamontville Golden Arrows, while Orlando Pirates are away to Skokune United. Ahead of it, the Buccaneers have confirmed they've parted ways by mutual consent with Dino van Rooyen after 2 seasons. And as for Sunday, the defending champions will be playing at the old Peter Mugaba Stadium, and Abdeslam Madou has discussed how that impacts their style of play.
When the teams take us in this kind of pitch, it means that they have planified what they want to do against us. We took a lot of experience from last season playing in this kind of pitch. It means that the game will be quite different because the space are different.
Third fastest. This weekend is being run to the sprint format, with qualifying for Saturday's point scoring race taking place later today, while qualifying for Sunday's Grand Prix on Saturday afternoon. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN
discussing important matters of national interest. Have you ever thought of something that was not to be? You thought the worst. You thought perhaps, why is it that my brother is not calling me anymore? And you probably thought you said something wrong, you offended them, and that was not to be the case. It was all in your mind. It could have been at work where you thought you're about to be fired, but it was not to be. It was all in your mind. It might have been at church. You thought your priest had something against you. That's why you can't go to confession anymore, and he's postponed this, that, and the other. But it was all in your mind. Have you had that?
This has been a really therapeutic week for you, ne? You've really told us so much of your life stories this week.
What are you trying to
appreciate
say?
your honesty. I'm generally like an overthinker.
Really?
If like a friend who sends me a message and says, can we talk later?
Yeah.
Yo, in my head, I'm already like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what words can I come up with? And then I'll be like, oh no, I just wanted to tell you that A, B, C, and D happened.
Yeah.
So for me, I need you to tell me. If you say to me, there's something that I need to talk to you about, you need to tell me in that moment.
Or else you
At least,
play a million scenarios in your head.
give me the bulletin points, and then when we deep.
Like, oh, okay, so you're fine.
That's
Yeah, it happens all the time, man.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, sometimes it works against us. My son, they had gone on a school trip overseas, and I listened to all the stations, and I was listening to BBC at the time, and the news bulletin was mentioning that I think it was somewhere in Asia, one of those Asian countries, and they mentioned that there was a problem, there was an accident with a school trip and everything else. I blew a gasket. Immediately, I was calling the school, calling the trip coordinator, calling everyone else and thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get to this place? What's going on? And they were all okay. They're like, what are you talking about?
You know, it's funny you should say that, because I had a similar incident. So I was hanging out with my sister-in-law-ish.
Yeah.
But we had gone to a spa. So
whoa, sister-in-law-ish.
Yes. They're not legally married.
Oh,
so
okay.
sister-in-law-ish.
I thought there's a new terminology in our lexicon.
So we were at a spa, and obviously, like, I can't be on my phone while I'm getting them. Imagine, like, anytime, like, no one doesn't respond, or it's just one ticks on WhatsApp.
Exactly.
The worst
You're like-
things.
Well, did you ever overthink about stuff and you were completely wrong and you were relieved and happy to be wrong? Let us know on 072 702 1702, 11 minutes to 4 o'clock.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
You would know that many of us grew up on some beautiful sounds of Motown, including free. What can we expect? I can't wait. And putting this and Order to Motown together, what was it like?
Well, first of all, I must tell you that this is the second staging of it because we staged it earlier in the year and it was such a success, the production, and that we decided as a theater to give it another run. So the production, the way that I saw it from the beginning, I just really, I've seen a lot of beautiful Motown shows, and I just thought, what do we do for this incarnation of Motown? I thought I just wanted to celebrate Berry Gordy as a dreamer. 1959, Berry Gordy starts the very first black-owned radio station at a very difficult time in America. So we are looking at Berry Gordy, and we are looking at the city of Detroit, a very fascinating city that is part of Michigan, and just like the songbirds that came out of those studios. I mean, you mentioned Marvin Gaye in the show. We have Marvin Gaye, we have Stevie Wonder. We have the Four Tops and all those sounds of great sounds of yesteryear. But I thought I was still looking for something to make our production different. And I just stepped on it one day. And it was that I wanted the piece to not feel like just stuck in the 60s. You've got those amazing tunes from the 60s because Motown still exists. So I wanted to add then the contemporary Motown.
Yeah.
And the Erykah Badu's, the neo soul.
Yeah.
And the continuum of the signature of Motown. So we have ended up with a production where a family can come and like maybe parents in their late 50s, early 60s, and sit with their kids and they all tune in on just the genius of Motown, and so that is what we did. And resonated with an idea of a dreamer. And it's quite interesting that around the time of the civil rights movement, so Rosa Parks, the moment in the past was not in Detroit, but she's a Detroit girl. And as you know, that she inspired Dr. King and inspired Malcolm X. There are some of their iconic speeches that were delivered in Detroit. And Jesse Jackson, we've got a thing that we do. I don't want to give away the production, but and so Detroit then became a home of so many things. And you think of, songwriters like Marvin Gaye, how socially conscious he was. I mean, that song, Brother, it's about Vietnam.
And what's going on?
And what's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, he found an amazing way to sort of like write these beautiful melodies and him as his libretto, the way that he wrote. But when you scratch the surface, you then realize that this is not just a love song. This is a conversation that is socially conscious. That is,
James, you and I can speak the whole day, bro. And you know how I can hold you in studio the entire day without letting
production. We start previews from the 1st. The previews, the official opening night is on the 4th, and we're running to the 13th. And people can go to social media networks to find out about the production. But Ticket Web and through our office also, our box office. And last week I asked the marketing team. They said it's sitting on 61% capacity.
Sure.
So I'm just saying to people, get tickets. Come and see it.
I am getting mine right away. The ever so fabulous James Ngobo was talking to us about the Motown production at Joburg Theatre. 2 minutes to 4.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to
Ibrahim Malouf, Judith Supuma, Angelique Kijo, Ndabo Zulu, Melanie Scholz, Flowetry, Tandi Somazwai, and 40 world-class acts for incredible stages of the Sandton Convention Center. One unforgettable experience at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th to 26th September. This is Jazz Reignited. Get your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
I'm a millionaire, and yes, I am a millionaire. And not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara week. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the gees going strong. Get pork brie chops for $58.99 per kilo. Traditional Texas-style burger patties for $139.99 per kilo. And buy a beef club or T-bone steak pack for $139.99 per kilo and get a 250ml pepper sauce free. Valid until 6 September. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
Scammers use ordinary people's bank accounts because it lets them behind someone else's identity. The money moves through a real person and not through the scammer, which makes it far harder for anyone to trace it back to the scammer. And then from there, the money is often then converted into cryptocurrency, which lets it cross borders instantly with no name attached for anyone to chase it. And
Given what has emerged in court papers, as well as the affidavit by the Reserve Bank, Baba Londenza,
to include at least 2 students from each of the university's 4 campuses in addition to the SRC. SRC President Liabulela Gela says this is needed to ensure greater transparency.
Because we've been engaging with the management throughout the year and previously, we've seen that the management seems to be engaging in bad faith, that when we agree on something, we end the meeting on agreement. They communicate something that is very opposite to students.
Meanwhile, all parties say they remain open to further engagements, but it's still unclear when the next meeting will take place. The Water and Sanitation Ministry says it's concerned about the impact sewage leaks and environmental pollution are having on Durban businesses. Deputy Minister Jack Bloom conducted an oversight inspection at the Amanzimtoti Golf Club in the south of Durban today. The golf course is bordered by a wetland that has been contaminated by persistent sewage leaks. Tabiso Goba has more.
While the foul stench was faint in the air today, Amanzimtoti residents say it gets stronger with tourism being the major lifeline for many businesses. However, blackened rivers, contaminated wetlands and dead marine life are not helping. Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation, Jack Bloom.
Well, obviously, there's a golf course here. We'd like to develop tourism. People should want to come here, but frankly, nobody's going to come here with this sort of environmental degradation. Of course, it's not limited to here, but just look at this. I mean, something needs to be done about it soon.
eThekwini municipality officials who were part of the oversight inspection say aging infrastructure and vandalism were the major contributors to the environmental pollution. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And South Africa's Border Management Authority has wrapped up its second Ebola simulation exercise, this time at the Beitbridge port of entry in Limpopo. The 2-day
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome back. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm thrilled to be in your company. You've missed out on a lot in the first hour, but you are in time for much, much more. Great having you with us. You're on 702. 10 minutes after 4 o'clock. In this hour, we will look at a number of stories, including the electricity rates. How much are you paying? And do you think that you are paying way, way, way much more than you are using? That's the feeling that I'm getting every time I fight with Mohale City, that I always feel like they're overcharging. And there are some good news in the offing for all of us who feel that way, as South Africa has reviewed the tariffs, electricity tariffs and charges. It might be that there is indeed a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not the train coming through. We'll touch on electricity pricing with Matthew Cruz, energy expert, in the next little while. Much later on, Randall's song is here, as John would have it on every other Friday, and he will be chatting about a song, giving us some bit of analysis on interesting musical choice that Randall has. Much later on, here's a question that I have for you. Is democracy failing us at times? The downfalls, the shortcomings of democracy. At times we elect into power individuals who don't have our interest at heart. It's just that they are the loudest. They shout the loudest, and they point at all things that are going wrong, and we assume that they ought to be leaders. We vote them into power. They have power, and they use that power against us. Is democracy failing us at times? If so, what is the alternative to that? We'll speak to a political analyst. Brutus Malada will give us his insights on that. 12 minutes after 4 o'clock, earlier I asked you to send your voice notes about overthinking, where you thought something was really terrible, and later on you found out that it was not as bad, simply because you had convinced yourself that this is the situation without the facts, only to find out that you were wrong. Has that ever happened to you? Please let us know on 072 702 1702.
For more about 702,
go to primemediaplus.com.
Hello, Tabiso. Yo, na I have a problem, a very serious problem. Kintunegi balakayona or no, I'm suffering ka dopamine serious because oh wow. If I send a text message and then a person doesn't reply to me, especially in groups, I'm in a lot of groups, and then when I send a message there, nobody reacts, nobody says anything. I feel like people, maybe they don't want me to be there. There's a group now I want to exit actually because of that. Whenever I post, they don't say anything, but whenever somebody else posts, they will react and reply. So yeah, it's many groups that I've been to. So it's always like that. I just receive that silence.
Yeah. Could it be that you do not use their correct names? Maybe they feel that she's not using our correct names. Wow, Ed Taviso. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it feels like that in a group when you post and someone else posts, yet they get great reaction. On your post, there's silence and lull. That could be worrying, and I'm sure how you'd feel. I get how you feel at this point. Please feel free to share your thoughts with us on 072 702 1702, 14 minutes after 4 o'clock.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. Mr. Charlie, how do the roads look?
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving Centurion, heading towards Eastland and north of Pretoria, traffic remains sluggish on the N1 northbound from the R21 flying interchange all the way to Sturmville. There's also bumper traffic in Proclamation Hill, that's west of Pretoria, on Trans-Orania between Kwaha Road and the Dustpot Tunnel. In Hermanstad, leaving the Pretoria CBD, traffic is slow. This is on Eskiam Patlele between WF Nkomo and the R80. Four ways, bumper traffic, Winnie Mandela Drive from the N1 to Uranium. And in Bursley, Kempton Park, there's also slow-moving traffic. This is on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help you remember your password hint, but they can get the traffic flowing smoothly so you get to the office in time to go see IT. The Outsurance pointsmen are real heroes in green and purple, easing traffic congestion and making our lives easier for almost 21 years. Just another way you always get something out in proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using #pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk, and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk, and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Will you survive the AI revolution or thrive? Regenesis presents the School of AI, the first of its kind in Africa, powered by 100 world-class AI experts delivering cutting-edge training, consulting, and real-world AI solutions. Regenesis has embedded compulsory AI modules across all their programs and 12 of their schools. From business and law to education and technology. Join the movement now. Enroll at regenesis.net. Regenesis, one institution leading the way.
More million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. And not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara Week, the national lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The national lottery is officially operated by Sisekai.
Some people wait for green lights. You create your own right of way. You move to your own rhythm. Calmly. No permission. Just intuition. That's why you need a car that matches your energy. Introducing the all-new Aura 5 SUV, a compact SUV that's designed for your next move, for every kind of you. Visit gwm.co.za to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more.
This is a message from Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some become bone marrow stem cell donors and give blood cancer patients a second chance at life. The South African Bone Marrow Registry needs you to help them make this a reality. I am a stem cell donor, and I ask you to sign up to be a stem cell donor today, or donate to the Patient Assistance Program. Visit sabmr.co.za to find out more.
702 Podcast
on primemediaplus.com.
Matthew Cruz is joining us. Matthew is energy expert, and we are talking about the electricity pricing policy. Will it pave way for lower tariffs? Matthew, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Hello, thank you for having me. Good to be speaking with you. Hello to your listeners.
Hi there. Since 2007, the price of electricity the tariffs have been very high, increasing at astronomical figures past inflation. Are we going to see a little bit of change taking into consideration this overhauling of our pricing system?
Yes, so thankfully this pricing policy is laying the foundation for the democratization of the energy pricing, and further then to that, the democratization of the energy sector. So one of the ways that it's going to be doing that, it was quite explicit in its kind of communications. So the government saying that this won't immediately bring down the cost of electricity like in year one. It's first bringing transparency and certainty to the price of electricity, and this policy being in place will assist in the competitive sector becoming more competitive, and then as a result the price of electricity coming down. So there are some things that will do short-term gains in terms of bringing down the price of electricity, like the minister saying that between 1% and 2.5% of the tariff is actually currently for unpaid electricity, so that'll be removed, and then other frivolous costs that are not related to delivered electricity will be removed. So there are some short-term gains, but the longer-term gains is the energy sector getting competition coming on board with independent power producers providing electricity in competitive environments.
In 3 to 5 years or less?
Yes, yeah. So 3 to 5 years is when we can expect to see, and that aligns nicely with that 3-year initial kind of first timeline of when we can expect the transmission grid to open up to allow more solar and wind on, because we've been hearing about transmission grid constraints limiting renewable power. So it's all looking like it's coming together nicely. I think of this as like another piece of the puzzle that is needing to be added, and now it is added on the road towards a competitive electricity sector.
Matthew, how are we going to see this relief in our pockets? Will it be something sizable, or will it accumulate over time so much that we won't even see it because of inflation at that particular point where we are supposed to be experiencing a bit of relief? And I'm asking that because as much as it affects industries, it's also affecting households as far as disposable income is concerned.
Yeah, it is unfortunately going to be a bit more like the latter, in that it's going to take time for the structural changes to have effect. So we can expect, it kind of still increasing, and then year 3 to 5, we can start expecting then, okay, here's some cheap electricity coming on board from solar and wind farms. And I know from my analysis that the renewable power is about half the costs of coal power. So the more penetration of renewables we can get into the grid, that'll bring down the price of electricity. But in the same timeline as that taking place, Eskom is doing its best to ensure that it remains a growing concern. So they're going to be saying, we need money for decommissioning of our power stations, we need money for implementing clean coal technologies, and also we need money for developing the land around our old decommissioning power stations for the independent power producers to come and partner with us to put down solar and wind farms. So they're going to have a range of different reasons that they need money, and still on their side increasing their multi-year price determination applications or increasing their revenue that they are wanting to collect each year. So we can expect that from Eskom, and in the light of that, then still move forward towards this competitive sector where eventually then we can have the price, hopefully see our first reduction in terms of the tariff take place in year 5 from now.
And I'm just wondering, to what extent will this really express tangible outcomes for us as ordinary consumers? I mean, at some point, we'd find Eskom approaching NESA for an increase that is completely ridiculous. And I would think that they would know that that's ridiculous. And they know that NESA would reduce it, but they go as high as possible so that even if NESA reduces it, they still fall within the range that they had wanted initially.
Yeah, that's really good commentary. And I recall when I was in Eskom, I was consulting internally in 2017, 2018, being in the executive boardroom when they were doing the multi-year price determination number 4. And the conversation went along the lines of, well, we know that NERSA just takes our application and halves it. And we know that we need to have 11% increase in order to remain a going concern. So therefore, we're going to actually make our submission a 21% increase submission. So I'm like, okay, this is actually how they go about things. It's like they're countering what goes on with NERSA. They don't actually go and calculate their efficient cost of producing electricity, and giving a bit of behind the veil information away here, because not technically you're supposed to be able to say these things, but it just gives some insight into how Eskom goes about things. So we can expect that the bias to be tightening on Eskom now, and them not having so much room to play and just say we need more money from the government with this next step.
I suspect they are not going to invite you back into that room again, Matthew, for consulting.
I'm thankfully in the private sector now. Thank you.
Good. I mean, the minister mentions that over a period stretching back to 2007, tariffs increased by about 907%, and in the corresponding period, inflation increased about 150%. Looks like we've been taken for a ride here, Matthew.
Yeah, that's 900% and 150% is like 4 times more than inflation, basically. It's 6 times more than inflation. My goodness, these numbers they just run away sometimes.
Yeah,
but 6 times more than inflation. It has been like Eskom's been a bit of a bottomless pit. Just coming up with endless reasons why they need more money. So that is coming to an end now, because part of this policy that's going to be separating out the costs on your bill. So as a consumer, you'll see now generation costs, transmission costs, and distribution costs. The transparency is now being implemented where there's less ability for money to just go missing in the system. And with that transparency, then we have the data that we need in hand to decrease the inefficiencies. And as the minister said it himself, he said consumers should pay for efficient services, not for the inefficiencies of a utility. So that's the new approach that's now being implemented from the government.
Matthew, let's chat again in the near future. Really appreciate your insight. Matthew Cruz is energy expert, 25 minutes after 4.
EWN Business.
With Stephen Grotes. He's not wearing a suit today, but he's still looking good. Stephen, what's the latest, man? Good afternoon.
I mean, you want to make a corporate guy sweat. Is tell him to dress casual, and then ask him what he does for fun. He's not allowed to say jogging. I mean, every time on the Friday on the Shapeshift interview, when we get to that point, I have to say you can't say jogging and spending time with your family. Got to do something else, man.
Golf, how's that?
Yeah,
Does
golf
that work?
is all right. I mean, mountain biking if you're a spectacular human being.
Yeah.
But, a really strong day for markets. So the rand touching just below 16 rand to the dollar a little while ago, just edging above that now. Gold price heading for $4,600. Platinum heading for $2,000, and that's helping to push the JSE All Share up 2.25%, 118,274. We haven't been in this territory for quite a while. Financials up 0.57, industrials up 0.69, resources up 5.81%. A couple of results in the mix as well, and that's one of the reasons. So Harmony, they're up 7.25% today. They reported their headline earnings per share will be about 80% higher. I would ask you why, but you know the answer, because of higher gold prices during the period. Sabania's up 6.86, Anglo Gold up 6.68, Implats is up over 6.5%, Valterra is up nearly 6%, African Rainbow Minerals, they're up nearly 5% on the day. They say their headline earnings will jump by between 12 and 22%, mainly because of higher platinum prices. Don't forget, it's announced that big investment to increase platinum production. So I think that's going to be really quite interesting over the next little while. Cell C reporting its headline earnings up nearly 60%, been able to increase net revenue, been able to increase the amount of money it's making from prepaid calls, which is where a big part of that competition has been very intense there, Tubble. So very interesting. The company listed on the JSE last year does say the incoming regulatory changes that will make your data bundles last longer and roll over will have an impact. Still quite confident, though. Aspen Pharmacare, its normalized headline earnings from total operations will be down by around 20%. While their normalized headline earnings will be up by 20%. There's been once-off restructuring items in that, which is why that figure looks like it does. Now, how's this story? Okay, I don't say this often in business. The JSE says the Financial Services Tribunal has ruled against the Namibian firm Trustco after it appealed an earlier decision by the JSE to fine it 5 million rand. So Trustco had sold a major share in a mine without consulting its shareholders. That major share was like 80% of its assets at the time. So it didn't tell shareholders that we're selling a major part of 80% of the asset, right? So the JSE imposed the 5 million rand fine. Nice little nugget in the statement. Yeah. It is now liable to pay the fine immediately. Okay. I am no expert on this story. Yeah. Off to court, I'm sure we will go. So I think that I'm going to watch that one because I find that fascinating. Alpha Min down 4.5%, PSG down 3.3%, Discovery down 2%, Dischem and Woolworths all both down 1.5%. In the US, things turning a little positive. The Dow Jones is up 0.75%, the Nasdaq up 0.21%, the S&P 500 up 0.4%. The gold price now stronger, Table $4,585.55, platinum $1,905.90, Brent crude where it was yesterday, $93.52. And the rand stronger today to the dollar 16.01, to the euro 18.70, to the British pound 21.84. Bear in mind this is a weaker dollar. Is really the main reason for all of this, for various reasons, bond buybacks, etc., etc., etc. Stephen Crotus, EWN.
On that Trustco story, Stephen, I'm wondering if companies such as Trustco, don't they have a war chest of sorts to offset these costs way ahead of time? They would be well aware of what they're doing. They've got great legal advisors, and they would have put money away to offset this.
So, yes, but it is really controlled, I think, by one person, a sort of Namibian millionaire. So I think we're looking at the decisions largely. I mean, you're exactly right, but I think we're looking at the decisions largely of one person. Certainly, you do get companies that have a driving personality.
Sure,
and this will be that.
Yeah.
Is my perception of it. I mean, this is really the first time I've dealt with the story, but if you look at all of those facts, that to me would make some sense.
I'll put my money on Stephen Grootes, especially around these matters, exactly 4:30. Mikey Molapo is joining us for Eyewitness News Headlines. Mikey, good afternoon. What's the latest?
We begin in the courts where the three accused in the Riga Park murder case are expected to bring a bail application next week. The trio is accused of a shooting that left 2 police officers and 2 civilians dead. The third accused, 27-year-old Alvino Levert Crawford, appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court earlier today following his arrest on Wednesday. He'll now be joined with the 2 other accused who remain behind bars and are all facing charges including murder, attempted murder and robbery. Dimakatso Leshoro has more.
Defense lawyer Samkele Kuzani says despite the Schedule 6 murder charges, the accused have no intention of abandoning their bail application. Kuzani admits the defense will have to show exceptional circumstances exist to justify their release when the matter returns to court on August 25th.
I need to be very cautious as to what do I disclose now. Let the 25th of August 2026 come and you shall see us in court. And we'll fight tooth and nail. We will fight regardless of the outcomes.
Kuzani has also alleged that all 3 accused were in fact assaulted by police, with presiding officer ordering that Crawford receive urgent medical attention when he returns to prison this afternoon. Crawford had 2 visible wounds on his face that his lawyer claims is a result of assault. Meanwhile, Hawk spokesperson Katlego Mogale declined to comment on the allegation. Timakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Boksburg Magistrates Court.
The City of Cape Town says an application by housing activists Ndifuna to appeal an eviction order against 160 people living on Transnet-owned land in Woodstock as a setback for public safety. The city says it's been alerted to at least 2 incidents in the area where 3 cyclists were attacked recently. City Maker member for Safety and Security JP Smith says the attacks are the latest in a series of safety concerns linked to the illegal occupation. Carla Peterson has more.
According to City Maker member for Safety and Security JP Smith, the informal settlement has been associated with crime, including robberies, cable theft, drug dealing and attacks on cyclists and road users. Housing rights organisation Ndifuna Ukwazi is set to appeal a recent High Court ruling for the eviction of more than 160 people from the site. Smith says a prolonged court case could delay efforts to address safety risks in the area.
The city intends to oppose the leave of appeal application, but in the meantime, these risks to the public safety will continue. I urge residents to please continue to report any criminality linked to this land invasion.
Ndifuna Ukwazi says the city has failed to prove that crime in the area is linked to the settlement and to provide alternative accommodation for those getting evicted. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And in Europe, the United Kingdom's National Weather and Climate Service has warned that the El Nino event that's developing over the Pacific Ocean is likely to be the strongest in living memory. The powerful natural climate phenomenon pushes up global temperatures and can increase the risks of extreme weather. Added to the effects of human-induced climate change, the Met Office is warning that it's very likely to mean 2027 is the hottest year on record globally. There's growing evidence that weather patterns around the world are already being affected, with below-average monsoon rains in India and suppressed hurricane activity in the Atlantic Ocean. The BBC reports that El Nino could put the UK at greater risk of a wet, stormy autumn, with signs of a very unsettled spell already showing up in long-range forecasts. There's no clear evidence that climate change is making El Nino events more likely, but its weather impacts are likely to be more extreme in a warming world. A look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 8 and 12 degrees and peak at highs between 27 and 28 degrees.
Leaving Centurion heading towards Eastland, there's about a 30-minute delay on the N1 northbound from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange all the way to Stormful Road in Proclamation Hill. Expect about a 30-minute delay. This is on Trans-Orania between Kwacha Road and the Dustbot Tunnel. And in Hermanstad, slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Patlele. This is between WF Nkomo and the R80.
The top story in Eyewitness News. The 3 accused in the Riga Park murder case are expected to bring a bail application next week.
Sunday.
A day to exhale.
To breathe in the melody. Unwind with Soulful Sundays on 702.
Kenny Maestri starts your day with smooth R&B
And timeless classics from 10 a.m.
At 2 p.m., Pushaza Subia keeps the good vibes flowing
With rich, soulful sounds. And as the night sets in,
Let Nothemba Madumo take you on a journey with jazz and beyond.
from 5 to 7 p.m. Soulful Sundays.
Relax, unwind,
And let the music move you.
only on 702.
702. Let's walk the talk.
Mandy Wiener's podcast, The Hope Dealers, tells the stories of people changing the narrative in Joburg. Mandy has spent weeks witnessing the passion and the collective action of the Hope Dealers, who are individuals and organizations working to restore and rejuvenate Jozi. Catch a new episode of the podcast on the Midday Report every Wednesday after their news headlines, or watch the full The Hope Dealers video on Prime Media Plus. This week, Mandy spends time with Sfiso Gumbi and the Urban Sefa team, bringing dignity and redemption to rubbish reclaimers who collect what we call rubbish. The Hope Dealers on Prime Media Plus.
So the other day I get this call from an insurance company. They asked if they could quote me. I said, quote me? I can't remember what I said. But if you're still thinking about it, it must have been pretty good. Mom always said I have a way with words. They just put down the phone. I don't get it.
Don't get that insurance. Get Pineapple. It's easy to get and online. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. T's and C's apply.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees? Costs climb. Too few? Productivity drops. Workforce Staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
Strong communities are built on a strong local government. Every day, municipalities work to deliver the essential services that improve lives and support thriving communities across South Africa. As the voice of local government, SALGA represents, supports, and empowers municipalities to build capable institutions, promote good governance, and advance effective service delivery. SALGA, inspiring service delivery.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Hi, 702. I overthink a lot, but I'm always right. I overthink everything, but I'm always right. And I have a very good intuition and a very, accurate gut feel. Yeah. Anonymous here. Thank you.
Yeah, in case you've just joined us, we were asking about a situation where you were overthinking and you were completely wrong. And that thing was just all in your mind and it was not the reality as it ought to have been. I don't know if you've just noticed right now, I think this story took place about a few hours ago, the South African judiciary mourning the death of Justice Fikile Eunice Mogotlo, a judge of appeal of Supreme Court of Appeals. She passed away after a long illness. You'd remember that she was with she studied at the University of Northwest at the time. It was called UNIBO, and she was now serving in the SCA. And so the judiciary is in mourning. 21 minutes to 5 o'clock.
EWN Sport.
With Tolagele Mganga, she'll give us the very latest. And rugby will definitely be in the menu. Hi, Tolagele, welcome.
Hi, Tabo. While Dave Rennie says New Zealand must believe they can beat South Africa in Saturday's first test of rugby's greatest rivalry series, the All Blacks come into the encounter against the top-ranked Springboks at Ellis Park in hot form, having won their 3 clashes against the Stormers, Sharks and Bulls. The tour of South Africa's New Zealand's first in 30 years, and Rennie admits that tomorrow's game requires a step up both mentally and physically.
Belief is a massive part of it. You know, you're going to Ellis Park to play the Springboks. It's almost their mecca, and we're really excited by the challenge. And being here for 3 weeks, we've had good prep. We know we're going to have to be at our best. We know we're going to have to be disciplined so we don't give them easy entry into our 22, and we're going to have to be really accurate. They've got an excellent team, haven't they? And certainly we expect a lot of aerial attack, and I think if we can diffuse that, that'll give us some opportunity to attack.
Michael Carrick has praised Marcus Rashford's fitness and attitude upon his return to Manchester United ahead of the new Premier League season. Rashford spent last season on loan at Barcelona, having also spent time away at Aston Villa before moving to Spain. And with the Red Devils due to open their campaign against Hull City tomorrow afternoon, Carrick has discussed where Rashford fits in.
He's come back fantastically well. You know, he's enjoying his football. He looks fit. He looks sharp. He looks strong. He looks ready to play football. So I've been delighted with him since he's came back. Yeah, of course he can play through the middle. He has done. I wouldn't say it's necessarily his number one position, but he can do that. And I think we've got forwards that give us that flexibility right across the front line that we've used. All of them pretty much in slightly different roles. So I think for us to have that option is really good moving through the season, obviously.
Miguel Cardoso concedes that it's time Mamelodi Sundowns win the MTNA title again as they prepare for the first leg of their semi-final against Lamontville Golden Arrows. The Brazilians last won this trophy in the 21-22 season, and Cardoso has shared his thoughts on ending that drought.
In the beginning of the competition, so when we played Polokwane, it was our first match. It was my exact question to the players. When there's a pattern, and when we won 1 out of 18, obviously there's a pattern that is not good, but there's a pattern. We should understand ourselves. If there's anything that we do that takes us in the direction of that pattern, and what we have to do different so that we can try to break the pattern. And that was exactly the starting point for the competition that we settled between ourselves.
And in news just in, world number 1 Yannick Sinner will not compete at the US Open because of a right knee injury and having not played competitively since winning Wimbledon back in July. The Italian's withdrawal comes as rival and defending champion Carlos Alcaraz makes his comeback. That's from a wrist injury following 4 months out. Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. I don't have 500 bucks, Mr. Karabo Charlie, but I will ask you this.
Yeah.
How do the roads look?
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving Centurion heading towards East Linwood, there's about a 30-minute delay. N1 northbound from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange all the way to Sturmville. Proclamation Hill west of Pretoria, traffic also heavily backed up. About a 30-minute delay on Trans-Orania between Kwacha Road and the Dustport Tunnel. In Hermanstad, there's slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Pahlele between WF Nkomo and the R80. In Fourways, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive from the N1 to Uranium. And in Bursley, Kempton Park, we still have slow-moving traffic on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein Road. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 92. I had to rescue my cousin's neighbor's cat from a tree. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
Joy of Jazz. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns on September 25 and 26.
Thank you so much.
Join 702 at the Dina Lady stage. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
Welcome back. 16 minutes to 5 o'clock. Great having you with us. And I'm very much happy that you are with us. Feel free to speak to us on 072 702 1702. Tolagele Mganga is in studio and is Karabo Charlie, but I have this question for all of you, including you listening to us right now. Fredo, you're my brother and I love you. But don't ever take sides with anyone else against family. You'd remember this line very well from that very famous movie, right? And what it means is that blood should stay together. Relatives, family should stay together. My question is, would you take sides against your family? Would you do that, Tolagele? For a friend, for a colleague, and then you're like, this time, Malume, you are wrong. Thabo Sholomashalo is right, not you.
How close am I to the friend?
It's not even about that, it's about principle. Let's just assume it's a colleague.
And my family did the thing that was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm more, if the spat between the two of them is like complicated, I'm more a correct the person that I'm close to in private sort of person. Because I also don't know exactly what happened between the two of them. And both of them are going to tell me a story that makes the other person look bad. So in that moment, I'll listen, I'll do everything. And then I'm like, whatever, guys, find the peace. And then to the person that I know personally, I'll just go to them and be like, even though I said, I also think A, B, C, and D are things that you should be aware of.
You know, there's a saying when I Tolagele, I hope I get it right because I think I'm just going to fluff it. It's about blood being thicker than water and how we always get it wrong. We always assume that saying to be, I suppose, pontificating that we need to prioritize family. But it actually means that people outside, we can be closer to people outside the family than we are to those who are family members. So that's the actual saying. I'll get it right in a short while and I'll Google it and I'll get it right. But I'm just wondering, to what extent do our families don't really matter that much? You know? You could be closer to Karabo than you are to your other cousin.
True. I can get what you're saying where you say your friendships can be closer. But I also think with a family and disputes between someone who's in the family and outside of the family connection has a knock-on effect where me and Karabo are related. He's telling my aunt, who's telling my cousin, who's telling this other person. And at the next family gathering, it's a little awkward because, oh my gosh, how dare you not stand up for your family? And I think with a friendship, it can just be me and you and this person.
Yeah.
And if you go tell the rest of your family, I don't know those people, so it's fine. But me, I still have to go back to my line and my blood and still deal with the ramifications of whatever happened.
Sure. The saying goes like this: the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Mr. Charlie?
I think that's, I don't live by that rule or that phrase. I think you don't choose your family, but you can make your own family. So sometimes family can disappoint you. And you feel like, oh my goodness. But then the next person, a colleague or somebody can become more important and more significant in your life. Coming to your talker, I'm a straight talker. If my family member does anything out of place, I'll put them in line because at the end of the day, if I don't put them in line, it means that I don't love them. And I'll just let them carry on doing nonsense all the time.
So my question to you, sir, is have you ever been disappointed by a family member?
Obviously, I mean, I'm sure everybody has been disappointed by a
to
family
an extent where you fall off completely.
Yes.
Not just disappointed. She said she'll come. Your cousin said she'll visit and she didn't visit. Where you don't speak for ages and ages
No,
and
it happens. It has happened. And it's better to be in a peaceful space and take care of your mental health than worrying about, oh, they are blood, we must reconcile. Sometimes reconciliation is impossible.
Tolagele, have you ever been disappointed by family?
It's family. They're always going to disappoint you. And I think with family, it even hurts a lot more because you think because you guys are made up of the same DNA, you're in the same experiences, they will be a lot softer and a lot kinder. They are sometimes the most harshest people. And things that they say flippantly stick with you long after they've already gotten over it.
And it's awkward when you're attending funerals or imigidi and family feasts and you don't speak to each other. You're avoiding them all the time. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been disappointed by family members? Did you fall out completely so much that you were not speaking for years? What was the problem? Let us know on 072 702 1702. 10 minutes to 5.
Randall's One Song on 702 Drive.
I look forward to it every single week, whether I'm on air or not. Randall, thanks very much for joining us. A happy Friday. Hope you're good.
Fantastic. I hope you are too.
I am. I think we're going to play the song first today, and then you'll give us your analysis after. Shall we do that? Then I give you the opportunity. Yeah.
We can do that. It's called Paputi Afro Soul by Mikey Seed, Unjaps, and Chill 77. And I'm very interested in your thoughts after you've heard the song.
Sure.
Dites-moi d'où il vient, enfin je saurai où je vais. Maman dit que lorsqu'on cherche bien, on finit toujours par trouver. Elle dit qu'il n'est jamais très loin, qu'il part très souvent travailler. Maman dit travailler c'est bien, bien mieux qu'être mal accompagné, pas vrai? Où est ton papa? Dis-moi où est ton papa? Sans même devoir lui parler, il sait ce qui ne va pas. Ah sacré papa, dis-moi où es-tu caché? Ça doit faire au moins 1000 fois que j'ai compté mes doigts. Hey. Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es, où t'es papa, où t'es? 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 Où t'es, où t'es papa, où t'es? Qu'on y croit ou pas, il y aura bien un jour, on n'y croira plus. Un jour ou l'autre, on sera tous papa, et d'un jour à l'autre, on aura disparu. Serons-nous détestables? Serons-nous admirables? Des géniteurs ou des génies? Dites-nous qui donne naissance aux irresponsables. Ah, dites-nous qui? Tiens, tout le monde sait comment on fait des bébés, mais personne sait comment on fait des papas. Monsieur, je sais tout en aurait hérité. C'est ça, faut le sucer de son pouce ou quoi? Dites-nous où c'est caché. Ça doit faire au moins 1000 fois qu'on a bouffé nos doigts. Hey! Où t'es? Papa, où t'es? Où t'es? Papa, où t'es? Où t'es? Papa, où t'es? Où t'es? Où t'es? Où papa, où t'es? Où t'es? 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 Où t'es? Où papa, où t'es? Où est ton papa? Dis-moi où est ton papa? Sans même devoir lui parler, il sait ce qui ne va pas. Ah sacré papa, dis-moi où es-tu caché? Ça doit faire au moins 1000 fois que j'ai compté mes doigts. Hey. Où est ton papa?
Goodness me, what a lovely, lovely song. Randall, that sounds very, very
Enjoy
good.
that.
I loved it to bits. I actually wanted to respond to you in French. I was going to say, c'est une chanson géniale. Elle me rappelle Salif Keita. It reminds me of Salif Keita a little bit. I loved it.
Fantastic. I'm glad. And I'm certainly going to be very interested to hear what the listeners thought of it as a song, because it is an AI-generated piece of music.
What?
And I think that this is the first time on certainly my segment that we've played a fully AI-generated piece of music. And the reason that I did it is that it reached number 7 on the official Nigerian top 100.
Yeah.
And it's not the only song of its kind. There's another song called Let Me Be, which has also done very, very well, streaming TikTok, curated playlists. And what is very, very interesting is this kind of a moment,
Yeah.
a turning point, where what listeners are actually saying is that they would, that there's a certain piece of music they like, and how it's been generated is not an important question for them anymore.
What does it
I
say
mean,
about?
it's a very interesting point, because I mean, if we think about the 1980s and music television, for example, without MTV, would Michael Jackson, Madonna, Duran have achieved the level of success that they did? Because, their image, their dance moves, their look was very, very much an important part of their success. Here you've got a situation where it's the complete opposite. This is not Kanye West or Taylor Swift generating publicity. This is simply a piece of music. There's no human being that you're following on social media or something, and yet, as I say, it certainly seems as though people like it.
I love it.
So
Definitely.
have we reached an inflection point?
What would happen then, in your view, Randall, about live performances in such instances?
Well, I think that's another very good question. But let's be honest, the biggest band of all time, the Beatles, stopped performing live in 1966. Candlestick Park was the last gig. And they then went on to make Sgt. Pepper's, which strangely was about a band that didn't exist.
Yeah, very strange. So, I mean, whilst AI is
60 years later, that's quite an idea.
Yeah, and AI is getting a lot of flack, and some people may criticize it that it's taking food from artists' tables. But at the same time, the point that you're making is very important, that, it's only about the quality of the song, the lyrical content, the melody, just the musicianship of the song itself. And it's got very little to do with personality-driven sounds.
Yes. And as I say, I'm not commenting, I'm not commenting either way about AI.
I hear you. Yeah.
I'm simply thought that it was an opportunity for us to reflect. And, at some stage, this is the first time that we've played something, but at some stage we're going to have to play it. And if it ends up being, a number one smash, then certainly we would play it as well. I think the one thing to note, of course, is that Spotify are going to make it very clear if a song is AI generated. So, listeners would know that. But as I say, certainly what we've seen now with this type of success in Nigeria, if a song is something that people like, that sets the mood, that is, part of the zeitgeist at the moment, then it seems as though listeners are not questioning how it's been generated.
Speaking of our listeners, let's get some bit of engagement on 072-702-1702.
You don't even need to wait for the listeners. I'm shocked that it's AI, because I wanted to comment and ask, what's the name of the song and who's the artist, because I love the song. I've heard it before. And I didn't have Shazam, and I was panicking and everything because So at least now I have an opportunity to talk about it, because it's a fantastic song.
Randall? Clearly it struck some nerve.
Well, again, as I say, that's why I didn't want to discuss it before we played it. I just wanted to hear, how people felt.
Yeah. Talking about how people felt, this is what you had to say as well.
Papa Utwe, I don't know whether I'm saying it right. This is a beautiful song. I have it on my iTunes playlist. I play it almost every day. I had it on Lion King. I've been coming across it. Lion King Mufasa. I've been coming across it on Facebook. I ended up purchasing it. I played. End of last year, it was one of the. It was a therapeutic song to what I was going through. So I love it. Love the song. Thank you for playing it on the radio. I've never heard it being played fully on the radio. I thought it was my phone that was now connected whilst I was listening to the program. So thank you so much.
Randall, you've struck a nerve. You've taken us to another level. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
I wish you the same. A minute to 5 o'clock.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
5 people have been arrested at a drug lab in Limpopo after drugs and manufacturing equipment worth an estimated 600 million rand were found. The Hawks say an undisclosed amount of cash has also been seized on the farm in Musina this morning. 2 Mexican nationals, 2 Zimbabweans and a Malawian aged between 20 and 47 have been handcuffed.
This 600 million seizure is not merely a quantity of drugs taken off the streets. It represents the distribution of the entire criminal enterprise.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
The conversation doesn't stop when you get behind the wheel. With the Prime Media Plus app, you can now listen to 702 through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, seamlessly integrated into your vehicle. No dropouts, no detours. Stay connected to the latest news, insightful conversations, and the voices you trust, all in crystal clear digital sound. Download the Prime Media Plus app today and take 702 wherever the road leads.
Running a truck fleet business in this economy is tough. Fuel, maintenance, staff, the costs never stop. That's why I switched to My Way Business Insurance. Now I save up to 20% on my insurance premiums every month. These savings go a long way to keeping my fleet on the move.
Switch to My Way Business Insurance and save up to 20% on your trucks and buses. Real businesses, real savings. Call us on 0860 646464 for a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. Standard rates and T's and C's apply.
More million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. And not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara week. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
This is EWN.
The ANC says its case against DA Finance Chief is too grave to ignore, and SA strengthens border control over possible Ebola threats. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. The ANC says should allegations against DA Finance Chief Mark Burke and his finance company, a fintech company, Castello, be proven, he must resign from Parliament. ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli opened a criminal complaint today against Burke and Castello in Cape Town, saying the matter is too serious for the party not to act. Ntuli says the ANC opened the case because Castello has potentially defrauded the South African Reserve Bank. Babalo Ndenze has more.
The ANC opened its case today following the Reserve Bank's investigation into Castello for allegedly violating exchange controls and transactions valued at 4 billion rand. The company was founded by Mark Burke and is currently run by his brother. ANC Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli says the company was involved in dubious transactions.
If it is found, as we suspect it will be, that here is a person who's a public representative but masquerading and acting in the evening against the very interests of the same population, definitely we'll have to make a call that he must cease to be a member of Parliament.
The ANC says it's convinced that laws were violated by Castello, given what has emerged in court papers, as well as the affidavit by the Reserve Bank. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has argued it's unlikely the Western Cape High Court will unreasonably delay a decision in his application to set aside a parliamentary report that has led to his impeachment. He has been defending an application by the MK Party and the UAT today for leave to appeal an interdict granted by the same court last month that has stayed parliamentary proceedings pending a decision on the review. Ramaphosa has also told the court at the current rate it's doubtful that Parliament's impeachment committee will be ready to proceed with public hearings for at least 2 more months. Lindsay Dentlinga was in court.
President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing impeachment over the search for his money that was stolen from his farm, Palapala, in 2020. But he says an independent panel report that probed misconduct allegations against him is flawed. His legal counsel, Advocate Jeff Budlender, says besides the interdict being rendered moot once the court considers the review next month, Parliament's impeachment committee still has many hoops to jump through before it will be ready to hold public hearings. Budlender says at worst, the harm caused by the interdict will at most be a short delay to the continuation of the committee's work. Judgment in the matter has been reserved. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
Crime Intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo says the now dropped fraud and corruption case against him did not deter his commitment to serving the public. Khumalo was speaking outside the Pretoria Magistrates Court after the NPA withdrew all charges against him and 6 other senior crime intelligence officials. The case stemmed from allegations by Anti-Corruption Unit IDAC over the appointment of Crime Intelligence Brigadier Dineo Mokweli. Nkosikona Malingamnisi has more.
Khumalo has welcomed the withdrawal of the charges, saying the truth is now out. Speaking outside court, he also expressed concern over what he described as the persecution of crime intelligence officials. While Khumalo would not be drawn on the emotional toll the case has taken on him, he insisted that the work of the critical police unit must continue.
On the question as to where to from here, we are going to continue working, serving the people of South Africa the way we have been doing all these years.
Khumalo also refused to be drawn on whether IDAC itself needs institutional reform, saying his focus remains on the work of crime intelligence. Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The Higher Education Department is expected to convene another meeting to resolve a standoff between CPUT students and management, but no date has been set. Yesterday's first attempt ended without an agreement as a departmental team met separately with the two sides. The university has suspended its academic program and ordered the evacuation of residences following student protests since last week, despite the CPUT Council withdrawing a proposed financial recovery plan that was among a list of grievances. Has more.
CPUT spokesperson Lauren Kansley says a desirable outcome would have simply been to engage meaningfully.
But we remain committed to continuing efforts to break the impasse. Our council will also continue attempts to engage the student leadership.
Higher Education Ministry spokesperson Matsepo Sedat says the next meeting has not yet been scheduled.
This was a first engagement and the team will continue with the talks until calm is restored at CPUT.
SRC President Liabulela Gela rejects suggestion that students are unwilling to engage.
The only thing that we had asked for is that can there be a composition that includes all stakeholders? And from our side, we need to have witnesses for students.
Lectures at CPUT remain suspended until further notice. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
And a Tanzanian court has ruled that the treason trial of opposition leader Tundu Lissu will go ahead after finding that he has a case to answer. Lissu, head of the opposition Chadema party, was detained in April last year and charged with treason, which carries a potential death penalty for allegedly inciting the public to boycott last year's elections. The longtime campaigner, who returned from exile in 2023, has faced multiple arrests over the years and survived an assassination attempt in 2017. Tanzania has faced international criticism after the deadly repression of protests around elections in November, with the opposition and rights groups saying thousands were killed by security forces. The ruling by a 3-judge bench came days after prosecutors presented evidence and 17 witnesses testified against Lissu. Gold's trading at $4,593.68 an ounce. The rand's at 16.02 to the dollar, at 21.83 to the pound, at 18.70 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $93.69 a barrel.
Leaving Centurion, heading towards Eastland, traffic remains heavily backed up. This is on the N1 northbound from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange all the way to Sturmville Road. Also in Proclamation Hill, expect about a 30-minute delay on Trans-Orania. This is between Kwaha Road and the Dustport Tunnel.
In your sport, Rassie Erasmus says it's a privilege to play the All Blacks as Ellis Park hosts the opening test of rugby's greatest rivalry series. Miguel Cardoso says Munapula Seleng's exile from Mamelodi Sundowns is a club issue and not a coaching problem. And Leonardo Paredes handed a 10-game ban by FIFA. A look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Joburg will drop to overnight lows of 12 degrees and peak at highs of 27. Pretoria at 13 and 28. Vereeniging's at 8 as well. At 8, also reaching highs of 28 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The ANC says should allegations against DA Finance Chief Mark Burke and his fintech company Castello be proven, he must resign from Parliament.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Nine minutes after 5 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. John Perlman is not here. My name is Thabo Sholamashao. Great to have you with us. If you've just joined us, you've missed out on exhilarating 2 hours of radio, but you are in for some more, fortunately, because this hour we will speak to Brutus Malada, political analyst, and we want to just dissect democracy just a little bit. Of late, it has at least been giving us not such exciting individuals who are running the country, all because of an election, all because of democracy. We have been bequeathed with the very least among us. Those who are loud, they manage to go right at the top, and those who are competent are too shy to take the reins. So democracy has not been giving us the very best, and yet we vote and complain when we do not get the results that we hope for. Brutus Malada will navigate us through that murky conversation, and I'm hoping that you'll also throw in your worth, because you are a voter. You can do so on 072-702-1702. And of course, a little bit later on a song, a book, and a dish. You don't want to miss this one. Heidi Jokos, award-winning broadcaster, will be joining me for that beautiful conversation just after 5:30. You can call in and also ask her any question. Lovely Heidi Jokos will be with us. And of course, the judiciary currently is going through a lot. Chief Justice Mandi Samaya has, on behalf of the judiciary, expressed condolences to the family of Justice Eunice Mogohlwa, Judge of Appeal of the Supreme Court of Appeal, SCA. And this is following her death. She passed on following a long illness. And it was said that the judiciary has lost a valued colleague and accomplished jurist. Justice Mogohlwa served with dignity, discipline, and a deep sense of responsibility. She had studied at the University of Northwest, formerly known as UNIBO. But now your voice notes, they've been coming through thick and fast on 072-702-1702. Let's take a listen.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Hi, 702 Landers. My quick comment is that firstly, that song was taken from an original Belgian artist named Stromae. So we are taking food out of existing artists' mouths and remastering it and making it AI. Secondly, I do feel like we need to be careful when it comes to how we welcome AI so willingly, because I feel like with AI coming in so strongly and so harshly into the industry, it really does degrade the work that the creatives in our industry are putting in so diligently. So now anybody can just go to AI, generate a feel and a theme, and then call it a song and then make money off of that. I mean, we had a guy in South Africa recently, I won't mention names, but he did that.
Good afternoon, Thabo. Sabiha from Joburg here. I think it's so fascinating, this conversation around AI-generated music. There is a person behind the original version of that song. It's Papa Ute by, I think, the Belgian artist Stromae. And I really wonder how he responded to this AI-generated version of his song. And I think the question around AI music, there's another side to that where I think artists are really concerned about the threat that AI-generated content and music, creative content in particular, poses to their bread and butter. And the question is whether AI can ever actually really produce original music when everything is basically based on things created by humans anyway. But yeah, interesting discussion. Thanks.
Thabo, hi, Ralph, Johannesburg. I have a very simple philosophy. You can choose your family, but you can't choose your relatives. Relatives don't have to be family. So I think when we broad stroke it and say that every single person that is a relative is part of our family, that is untrue. Because relatives become that relatively insignificant. Family are people you have close contact with who might not necessarily be blood. So I look at it from that perspective, that I can choose who my family is, but I can't choose who my relatives are. Have a great day.
Hey, Tabo, great show. Regarding taking sides, everybody that knows me knows that I only take the side of the truth. It doesn't matter whether they are family, they are friends or colleagues or whatever that it is. I only take the side of the truth. You better be on the right side if you deal with me, and that's what it is. Thank you, Simon Villefian Park.
Very interesting, and that distinction we need to make. And thanks for those voice notes. I really appreciate them because they're opening our eyes from the commentary on the AI song and to the ones about relatives and family, the distinction between the two. You're quite right. I'm also wondering to what extent can AI produce a song from scratch? Of course, it needs a human input. Tabo needs to say, I don't know, input, some sort of input where I say, create a song about me enjoying playing chess together with Karabo Chali at 7:02 during lunchtime. And do we credit AI for that, or do we credit the person who had placed an input into AI to produce such? Very interesting conversations. Please keep on enlightening us about that. I'm enjoying the discussion. Feel free to send your thoughts to 072 702 1702, 16 after 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rands. Mr. Karabo Charlie, what's the latest?
Well, if you're driving through Centurion heading towards Eastland, traffic is looking really bad. So listen up, but expect about an hour delay. N1 northbound from the R21 flying Saucer interchange all the way to Sturmville Road. This is all due to an accident. So to save you some time, you can use the N14 through Centurion. You can use Bota Avenue or even the R21 and then drive through the Pretoria CBD. Make your way up Wonderboom and then maybe rejoin the N1 at Sturmville Road this afternoon. Otherwise, in Proclamation Hill, there's also about a 30-minute delay on Trans-Orania between Kwacha Road and the Dustpot Tunnel. In Hermanstad, there's still slow-moving traffic leaving the Pretoria CBD on Eskiam Pahlele between WF Nkomo and the R80. Krugersdorp, there's slow-moving traffic, N14 westbound. This is between Bears, Nodia and Hendrik Potgieter, while in Polshof, traffic heavily backed up on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven. It looks like there's faulty traffic lights through there. Four ways, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive from the N1 to Uranium. Bursley, Kempton Park, slow-moving traffic on Modderfontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein Road. To report any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Deciding to binge that new series may cost you your beauty sleep, but deciding to stay with your current car insurance could be costing you thousands of rands in savings a year. With Outsurance, 58-year-old Loretta saves a whopping 479 rands a month on her 2017 BMW 320. Switch to Outsurance. You too could be one quote away from having more money in your pocket every month. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports, no more disconnected systems, no more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
Just handle exit.
Do you have a sore throat? Anzalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Anzalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Anzalex it.
Andelix, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, returns to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from 28 to 30 August. Experience thrilling track drives, supercars, drifting, 4x4 adventures, and the very latest in automotive innovation. Book your tickets now on Howler, the Festival of Motoring, where legacy meets innovation.
Joy of Jazz. The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz returns on September 25 and 26.
Thank you so much.
Join 702 at the Dina Lady stage. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.
20 minutes after 5 o'clock, has democracy left South Africa disappointed? The caliber and quality of some leaders, especially on Madlanga Commission, that we get to hear them reflecting on their actions, but also expressing themselves, their views and their values. Have you been disappointed? And this is the quality that we have sent to Parliament to represent the best among us. Has democracy let us down? Brutus Malada, political analyst, joins us for that conversation. Brutus, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tabo, and good afternoon to the listeners of 702.
Has democracy opened us to an abuse of a popularity contest disguised as legitimate democratic process of electing leaders?
Democracy has its own virtues and vices. And in the case of South Africa, its virtues include the fact that we have a constitutional democracy in which human rights, equality, free speech are guaranteed. And you also have an independent judiciary, as well as regular, free and fair elections, which are the hallmark of a working democracy. But the vices are there, which are extreme inequality, unemployment, and so forth. And then poor leadership and lack of accountability.
Brutus, I lost you for a second. I don't know if you're still with us. Are you there? Brutus, I think we've lost Brutus Malada, political analyst, as he was trying to expand on explaining the vices and virtues of democracy. And he was saying, of course, the independent judiciary, constant elections are some of the good stuff. But every now and then we are bequeathed by perhaps poor leadership at party level and other levels, and that could be also be attributed to the vices that come with democracy. I think Brutus is back. Let's try one more time. Brutus, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Tabo.
Sorry, you're expanding and you got cut off. Let's take it from there.
Yeah, I was saying that the vices of South African democracy include poor leadership and lack of accountability. And what we are witnessing in the Madlanga Commission is exactly that we have got poor leadership. But democracy, the goodness of democracy is that it says a people get the leaders they deserve. So we have nobody else to blame but ourselves, because for a person such as Fidel Adams to be a representative in parliament, he has been elected by the people. So those who elected him deserve that kind of a leadership.
Sure.
And that's what makes democracy so interesting.
I'm wondering as well, and I mean, Adams is just but one. There could be many others littered across the political sphere of South African politics in all political parties, one may even argue. But what informs our choices when we follow leaders, when we, most importantly, vote for them?
Look, there are many things in South Africa. You can't divorce our current politics from the history of exclusion, and a lot of people still have sentiment when they go to the ballot to vote. They are sentimental about history and the past, and that is why the ANC has also thrived on that narrative that if you elect certain individuals or certain political parties, you are going to bring back apartheid. And those narratives have made people feel that they cannot let go. Yet they are making democracy to fail because they encourage impunity. Where there is no accountability, there will be a sense of impunity. And you are right, Thabo, that there are many dubious leaders across the political spectrum. Because what has happened in South Africa, we have chosen a kakistocracy instead of meritocracy. We have even flattered with plutocracy. Because if you look at Cyril Ramaphosa, he's someone who returned from business as a rich man. And a lot of people would have thought that a rich man cannot be implicated in any kind of wrongdoing or corruption. But we now know that there are many skeletons in the closet. So it is not the rich that will save South Africa, and neither will it be kakistocracy, which is a government by the unscrupulous. And that's what we've experienced throughout the many years under Jacob Zuma, where people who are not qualified were put in positions. What we need today is a democracy underpinned by merit, where elect people first at leadership level on the basis of their expertise. And those who get appointed in government positions must be appointed on the strength of their expertise, not on the strength of their association.
We have just a few seconds remaining, but allow me to press you, Brutus, on this one. Could it be that the assertion that those who are capable and competent shy away from taking responsibility in the reins of power, and those who are not are the first ones to claim the wheel and seek to direct it?
Yeah, what has happened in South Africa is that the capable and wise have left the space for politics to be taken over by the unqualified and the unscrupulous. And we now have this sentiment that cuts across that says that politics is dirty and it's rough out there. Yet we needed the professionals to be the ones that take over, because you are living in a modern society. The global politics are changing. It's no longer just about oratory speeches. It's no longer just about wooing the voters. It's also about what is it that you can offer? What is it that you can do for South Africa to compete at the same level, shoulder to shoulder, with China, America, and other erstwhile democracies that are thriving?
We have to leave it at that, unfortunately. We'll continue the conversation at another time. Brutus Malada, political analyst, 27 minutes after 5 o'clock.
EWN Business.
Someone who's competent to give us the very latest in the world of business figures and digits is none other than Stephen Grootes. Good afternoon, Stephen.
Thank you, flatter me, frankly. Good afternoon, Thabo. Yeah, so the rand slipping a little bit, but it was below 16 rand to the dollar, weaker dollar, stronger gold prices. Gold very strong today. Was about $4,600 at one point. Platinum looking stronger too. That's helping to lift the JSE up 1.81%. on the day, 117,748 points. Financials up 0.3%. Industrials up 0.61%. Resources up 4.8% on the day as a result of that, led by Harmony up 7.4%. Also because Harmony Gold reporting its headline earnings per share will be up 80%, mainly because, of course, of higher gold prices, as you would expect. And then Anglo Gold up 6.38% on the day as well. While platinum miners like Implats, Sibanye Valterra, they're up by around 5.5% on the day. Alpha Min, they're down 3.84%. PSG Finance down 3.25%. Discovery down 2.5%, while We Buy Cars and Dis-Chem are down by around 1.5-2% on the day. Cell C, their headline earnings up nearly 60%. We'll speak to their CEO on the Money Show this evening. They've even been able to make more money from prepaid, where there's been a lot of competition. African Rainbow Minerals, their headline earnings will jump by between 12 and 22% because of higher platinum prices. And Aspen Pharmacare reporting headline earnings from total operations will be down by 20%, but normalized headline earnings will be up by 20%. There's been a series of once-off restructuring items there. And then the JSE saying that the Financial Services Tribunal has ruled against the Namibian firm Trustco, and as a result, it must now pay the JSE that fine of 5 million rand. Trustco sold a major share in a mine, their major asset, without telling shareholders, and that's why they were fined. I'm not sure how they will respond to this, but so often in these cases, someone will probably think about going to court. We'll wait and see what happens. In the US, a bit more optimism around after quite a tough week. The Dow Jones is up 0.75%, the Nasdaq is up 0.42%, the S&P 500 is up 0.5%. The gold price, $4,593.78 an ounce. Platinum, $1,897.80. Brent crude, $93.68. And the rand to the dollar, 16.02 now, to the euro 18.70, to the British pound 21.83. On the Money Show tonight, Cell C, we'll talk also about mobile virtual phone operators, so people who sit on top of other networks, basically. Cell C does that too. And we'll talk about the big motor festival that people are preparing for. It's at Kyalami. Stephen Krutis, EWN Business.
One show you don't want to miss between 6 and 8, The Money Show with Stephen Krutis. Also, you don't want to miss the latest eyewitness news headlines with Mikey Mulapo. Hi, Mikey. Welcome.
Thanks, Taba. Good afternoon. We begin with news just in. The city of Johannesburg has fully settled its overdue electricity debt to Eskom. The utility has confirmed receipt of the final payment, bringing the total amount paid to more than 5.25 billion rand. The debt dispute had threatened the security of electricity supply to Johannesburg. Annalita Fandese has the details.
The dispute was resolved through an intervention and mediation process led by Electricity and Energy Minister Josienzo Ramakgopa. The minister says the resolution shows the effectiveness of intergovernmental cooperation while ensuring that residents and businesses continue to receive an uninterrupted power supply. Following the full settlement, Eskom has withdrawn the PAJA process it initiated in May over the outstanding arrears. The city has also committed to paying future Eskom accounts on time while tackling electricity losses caused by theft and vandalism and investing in critical infrastructure. Annalita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
The Gauteng Health Department has responded to a social media complaint about a patient's experience at Helen Joseph Hospital's emergency department. The department says the patient, who was seen on the 18th of August, was triaged as a P2 or yellow priority case and was assessed by nursing staff within 54 minutes. She was later treated, given medication and discharged with a follow-up appointment. But the department admits the patient's stay was prolonged and says the emergency department was, at the time, dealing with significantly high patient numbers. An investigation has also been launched into allegations about the conduct of a health worker involved in the incident. Gauteng Department of Health spokesperson Steve Mabona says the patient has been invited back to the hospital to verify her complaint.
We take all allegations relating to the conduct of employees seriously, and we do not condone negative attitude towards patients. We further encourage patients and members of the public to raise concerns directly with the hospital management while they are still at our facility.
And in Central Africa, the United Nations says the Ebola outbreak raging in the Democratic Republic of Congo is growing exponentially, with more than 2,500 deaths now recorded and half of that toll occurring in the last 20 days. The UN Senior Ebola Coordinator, Julian Harness, told reporters in Geneva today that according to the latest figures, the epidemic is spreading widely and is growing faster and wider than the Ebola response. Harness stressed the need to ramp up the response by increasing staffing, getting more resources into remote areas across the east of the Congo within months in an attempt to slow the transmission and move to stopping it. He warned that if they don't, then this epidemic will become more deadly, spread wider, and it risks the spread into neighboring countries. The DRC's 17th Ebola outbreak was declared on May 15th and is thought to have already been spreading for several weeks by that point. A look at your weather. A fine Saturday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Temperatures will drop to overnight lows between 8 and 12 degrees and
peak at highs of 27 and 28 degrees.
Leaving Centurion, heading towards Eastland, expect more than an hour delay. N1 north from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange all the way to Sturenville Road due to an earlier accident in Polshof. Traffic heavily backed up on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven, and in four ways bumper-to-bumper traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive. This is between the N1 and Uranium.
The top story in Eyewitness News. It's news just in. The city of Johannesburg has fully settled its overdue electricity debt to Eskom.
Local government elections aren't about politics. They're about the roads you drive every day, the water you need, the electricity you rely on, the rates you pay, the services you deserve. You see, local government isn't somewhere else. It's your neighborhood, your street, your home. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk and EWN will be where the issues that matter to you are put in the spotlight, where the tough questions are asked, where the crucial conversations begin, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Your business needs that new ultrasound machine, but do you have the cash to fund it? Before you compromise on the core items your business needs, have you looked at saving on your business insurance? Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. For dentistries, general practices, physiotherapies and all other businesses, visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Mama Million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. And not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara week. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the geus going strong. Get pork braai chops for $58.99 per kilo. Traditional Texas-style burger patties for $139.99 per kilo. And buy a beef club or T-bone steak pack for $139.99 per kilo and get a 250ml pepper sauce free. Valid until 6 September. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
EWN Sport.
With Tolagele Mganga, rugby and much, much more. Hi, welcome again, Tolagele.
Thanks so much, Thabo. And Rassie Erasmus says being involved in a test match that features New Zealand and South Africa is a privilege. That's with Ellis Park set to host the latest chapter of their meeting. The two will meet in the first test of rugby's greatest rivalry tomorrow, and Erasmus has discussed the magic that surrounds this fixture.
Whatever happens, things get said, things get wrongly taken out of context, and then some pundits or podcasters, gives ugly comments and stuff on that. But we're definitely not afraid of New Zealand, and I'm 100% sure New Zealand is also not afraid of us. But we do respect them a hell of a lot. If you look through history, they're by far the team who's been the most consistent. I'm not talking World Cup titles, because I'm talking consistent on the winning percentage and how they do things. So for us, it's a great, it's a voorreg.
Dave Rennie has Adi Sevilla available again, and he'll captain the All Blacks against the Boks, while the coaches handed Ruben Love the number 10 jersey for that clash.
Yeah, he's been excellent. He's really confident, really clear. He's led really well, and like I say, he's had a great season. He's been really strong for us in the black jersey and deserves that starting spot.
The MTN 8 first leg semi-finals take place this weekend as Mamelodi Sundowns clash with Lamontville Golden Arrows, while Orlando Pirates are away to Skokune United. Abdeslam Madu has hinted that a debut could be on the cards for Sebastian Pedersen. That's after the Norwegian impressed during training.
He's really happy to join Pirate. We saw a lot of happiness, a lot of excitement from him in training. We can see definitely that he has quality to finish. Definitely, I don't need 1 month to see that he's a finisher. Now the question mark is to be able to put his qualities on the table and to show his qualities. Is important to be fit.
Monapula Saleng will remain unavailable for selection for Sundowns as he continues to train away from the first team as a result of disciplinary issues. Miguel Cardoso has reiterated that Saleng's ongoing exile is a club matter and not a coaching issue.
He was always a player we gave a lot of effort. We tried so much to push him towards the group, towards the dynamic of a group, towards the behaviors that a professional player has to have, the mental stability that a player has to have. But when the normal, inside the group that is very disciplined, where we have no issues, we have a lot of understanding about what are the rules, and the locker room has rules by their own players. And when a player breaks systematically these kind of things towards the teammates, towards the coaches, towards the club, we don't know what we can count on.
And Argentina midfielder Leonardo Paredes has been given a 10-match ban for his role in the on-field clashes during the 2026 World Cup final against Spain. His teammate Nahuel Molina has been handed a 7-match suspension, while the national team have been ordered to play their next 2 home fixtures behind closed doors, though one of those matches will be suspended. Tola Gilimganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Traffic with Mr. Karabo Charlie, and we've just received very disturbing news about what's happening on the N1 North, Mr. Charlie, about stone throwing.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Gee, that's a serious concern, Thabo, and it's not the first time I hear of this. Last week it was in Bedford View where a motorist lost her life. There's these hooligans who are throwing stones from bridges onto the highway. So, unfortunately, this lady, the one of the bricks hit this lady's car. She lost control and hit a barrier and lost her life. Today, we're receiving another call, a WhatsApp message from a gentleman driving on the N1 South and saying there's some bricks lying on the highway. It looks like some people are throwing bricks or stones on top of the main road bridge. So just letting the motorists, the rest of 702 lane, just to be careful and just beware of those rocks and stones. But yeah, it also calls for the police to investigate this, because now it's becoming a regular thing. So yeah, hopefully it stops and they nip it in the butt. Otherwise, at this stage, Thabo, let me start in the city of Tshwane, leaving Centurion, heading towards Eastland. Expect more than an hour delay on the N1 northbound. This is N1 northbound from the R21 Flying Saucer interchange to Sturmful Road. That's due to an earlier accident in Lombardy Estate. Still in Pretoria, expect about a 20-minute delay on Graham Linwood Road. This is between Solomon Mahlangu and Boschkop Road. Proclamation Hill, expect about a 30-minute delay on Transorania between Kwacha Road and the Dasport Tunnel. Hermanstad, also slow-moving traffic on Eskiam Pahlele from WF Nkomo to the R80, while in Krugersdorp there's slow-moving traffic. N14 westbound from Beyers Nordia to Hendrik Potgieter. Pulls off, traffic remains heavily backed up on this is on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Stonehaven due to faulty traffic lights. And finally in Bursley, Kempton Park, slow-moving traffic on Morafontein Road between Pretoria Road and Mooifontein Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
The president has got serious questions to answer. Man, what are you doing with dollars in your cup? Hey, man. These politicians, are they to be trusted with such a serious issue? Yeah, that man must answer. Are these parliamentary committees the right platforms? If our politicians are so thoroughly compromised, all of them, and they know things about each other, can a criminal matter be reliably sent to a political platform when the politicians on that political platform are beholden to each other?
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Mama Million here, and yes, I am a millionaire. And not a Mampara. I said goodbye to Mampara week long ago. And I know you're not a Mampara. Say it with me. I'm not a Mampara. Then go play the lotto for just 5 rand so that you're not weak on Mampara week. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekaya.
Happiness starts in the garden.
It starts with the first herbs you pick for tonight's dinner, the color that welcomes you home after a long day, and the simple joy of watching something you planted begin to grow. Enjoy 25% off all seedling 6-packs and herbs at Stodels, Bryanston and Ferndale. Plus, compost 30 DM, 4 bags for R100. Visit Stodels Garden Centre before 23 August. Stodels, create happiness.
Hey, we buy cars. How does it work if I want to sell my car?
We'll drive to your place. You can visit our pods. Even if you don't have space, then at the mall in a parking lot, we've got lots of depots all across the land. Contact We Buy Cars. You're in safe hands. Safe hands.
Wow, that's great.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
A song, a book, and a dish.
On 702.
Song, a book, and a dish. 16 minutes to 6 o'clock. John is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm happy to be in your company, especially for this feature with one of my favorite broadcasters, award-winning broadcaster, your favorite as well. I know South Africa has enjoyed her on screen as she asked probing questions, putting politicians under proper scrutiny, and to a large extent informing us about what's happening in and outside our country. My guest this evening is Heidi Jokos. Heidi, thanks for joining us. Welcome to 702. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me. That's such a beautiful introduction. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to be chatting with you, Tavo.
Lovely chatting to you. And what's great is your way of telling South Africans what's happening all over the world and in and around our politics as well. Heidi, where did this passion begin, if you don't mind sharing with us? Because originally you're from Mpumalanga, right?
Yes, that's correct. I started becoming very curious, watching my dad know literally everything about politics in the world. And he's like a walking encyclopedia. You can ask him about any country, you can ask him about anything that happened in 1932 and he will tell you. We actually always tease him and we always say, Dad, tell us what happened in 1932, and he'll literally tell you what happened. That's how smart he is, and he was just always so informative, and I think that's where my curiosity peaked at a very young age. And as you all know, my sister Eleni Jokos is also a very good broadcaster, and she's a journalist as well abroad. And she obviously started because she's about 10 years older than me. And she started way before me. And when I saw her doing what she was doing, I thought, this is exactly what I want to do. I need to give a voice to the voiceless. There was a lot happening in Mpumalanga, in Emalahleni, where I was born and raised. And I just saw that so many people were ignored, sidelined, not given an opportunity. A lot of things were not done the way they should have been done. And I thought, how do I make a difference? So I actually wanted to become a lawyer. My father said, absolutely not. And I said, okay, let me become a teacher. He said, absolutely not. So I said, okay, I'm going to become a journalist and try and make a difference. So that's how it basically all started.
We have your father to thank for that great choice. Heidi, I mean, take us back to
Yes.
Mpumalanga, especially with your sister. What kind of home was it when you were growing up, coming back from school? Were you expecting a hot meal, and were you sitting around the table later on and discussing the happenings of the day together with your family? What kind of upbringing did you have?
Yes, certainly. I think just to give some context, it was very difficult growing up because my parents moved to South Africa in the 80s, and it was obviously a very difficult time in South Africa. It was not democratic South Africa at the time, so you can only imagine what was going on. And they came for a better life, and they came with 2 children. And obviously my mom and dad, and then they had my sister and I because we're 4 girls. And we grew up in a very small town back then. Emalahleni is nothing like it is today. And it was not easy because we had to integrate. There were language barriers. The culture was very different. We basically stood out from everybody else. But we always knew that going back home, we'd have my mom, who's staunch Greek. She's a very strict Greek mom. But you know, she would always make sure that we have traditional Greek food ready for us. My mum makes the most amazing. It's called kolokithopita, which is basically pumpkin pie with feta cheese inside. It is the most amazing thing. And my mother has mastered it. And it was always a place where we knew that we could come back and draw love and support from both my mother and father. They obviously had it very tough. They had to work in the shops on the mines back then. It was not easy, and but we look at us today. I think we came out pretty normal, and we're four girls, so we're a very close family, and obviously, it's imagine five girls with my mom, and then it's just my dad. So he always used to say, "I can't. I need more male energy in this house." But yeah, it was always very comforting, and my parents tried to do the very best for us. It was obviously very difficult for them because they also battled with the language and adjusting culturally. But they made it work,
Yeah. And do you put together a good kolekipitopita? I'm messing the name completely
No, you
up.
did well. Lovely. I'm proud of you. Well done.
Are you able to put it together like the one that your mom made for you when you were growing up, Heidi?
No, I am very crusty when it comes to making kolokithopita, but what I can make is yemista, which is stuffed tomatoes and peppers and eggplants. It's like there's a rice mixture that you put inside these stuffed vegetables. I can master that, and that's also one of my favorite dishes. Nothing like your mom's food, but I've tried.
I mean, your mom can't cook for you at restaurants. What do you have when you're around Joburg and mom is not around and you have to eat out? Is there a specific meal that steals your fancy?
I always try and I do gravitate towards Greek restaurants. I currently am in Greece. That's probably why you're hearing all the insects in the background. This is a typical Greek sound in the back. If you're wondering what on earth is happening behind Heidi,
I was afraid to ask.
I always. Yeah, this is like the natural sound of Greece. You'll always hear these little ticks and these little insects that make a sound. But I normally go to a restaurant called Parea. It's in Ilovo, and they make really good Greek traditional food. And I always gravitate to yemista, the stuffed vegetables, or anything that feels like home. Because my parents actually moved back to South Africa. Back to Greece, Limnos, after my incident, my ordeal, which I've been very open about, where our house was broken into and I almost lost my life. And my parents were actually in the house, and they obviously took it very badly. So they decided to move back to Limnos, to Greece, and they are living large. I mean, my dad is the councillor in the village.
Yeah.
Many of my former colleagues used to tease me and say, but he's not the councillor or the mayor, he's the nduna. I'm like, that's the same thing, okay? It's equivalent to like a mayor here. So, but I always gravitate to something that makes me feel like home, and because I miss my parents a lot. It's very difficult without them. But whatever makes me feel like I'm back home with my parents.
I'm hoping you're coming back soon because we don't want to lose you to Greece.
Yes, I'm actually at the airport. So
good.
Don't worry, you'll be seeing me soon.
Good. Let me not make you late for your plane.
Yeah.
And talking about books, I mean, books that changed your life. Your favorite book, which book comes to mind when I ask about some words that really speak to your heart and mind?
It's currently a book that I'm reading at the moment. I've managed to get through quite a lot of the book while I've been here in Greece. It's the book is called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's a very different kind of book. I'm quite spiritual and I'm very religious. So this book has also really changed the way I think, and it gave me such perspective about how, in life, sometimes we gravitate to the negative thoughts or to the thoughts of, am I deserving of? Do I really deserve this greatness in my life? And this book has made me realize that, in actual fact, we are deserving and we can predict or determine our own destiny and our own outcome just on the way we think. And I'll give you an example, Thabo, and don't worry about my flights. I don't know if you're running out of time, but just very quickly, give you an example. In the book, it speaks about when you wake up in the morning or
Yeah.
when you know that you have a very big event the next day and you plan your outfits, that's how you should plan your thoughts because, you put effort into looking good and having a very good outfit if you're going to an event. And that's how you should plan your thoughts. You should plan your thoughts to think positively and to pour back into yourself and, give yourself the positivity and love that you often pour into something like your outfits or, pouring back into somebody else. You should do that for yourself. And obviously, I've been going through quite a difficult time. And it's changed my perspective in trying to ensure that I think as positively as I can.
And I'm sure positive things are going to come, no doubt, with your talent and expertise, Heidi, in that space that you occupy. I wanted to find out, are we going to see you on our screens anytime soon? And a lot of our listeners, I'm just thinking, when are we seeing you again on our screens?
Very, very soon. Watch the space. I don't want to give too much away, but I think I still have a lot to offer, and I've worked very hard in my career. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of problems in South Africa, and there's a lot that we still need to get through. And we need to ensure that there's good journalism out there that can contribute to, further amplifying the good in the country, but also holding those in power to account because they need to ensure that they do their jobs properly. And I mean, when you introduced me, you said, I always do that. And I've actually been labeled the cheeky one because I'm hardcore and I'm like, answer the questions, do your job. So watch the space, Thabo. You guys will see me very soon.
As long as there's something in the horizon. Quickly, the songs that you love. We have about 40 seconds or so. Any particular song that comes to mind? I'm sure you've got a catalog of your favorite songs, but one or two that speak to you?
Yes, I do. I have quite a few, but I love listening to Greek music. And there's one Greek song that's called Yerismata. And it's a song about what goes around comes around. And, if you pour good into the world, it will always come back to you. Whatever you pour will always come back to you. And I absolutely love Lyra's song, Something Inside So Strong. It just, every time I'm feeling down or, I sometimes doubt myself, I go and I listen to that song and I get so emotional when I listen to it because it's so encouraging to say, life will show you so much and there'll be challenges and mountains and obstacles, but there's something so strong inside each and every one of us and we can overcome it as long as we believe.
What can I play for you in the remaining few seconds?
You can play Lyra, Something Inside So Strong.
Great. And you also said Ubomi Abumanga, right?
Yes. Oh,
Life
one of my
continues.
favorite songs. I listen to it all the time. I listen by Sun Al, musician and Msaki. I listen to it all the time. It's about how life continues, keep going on. And again, it speaks to the narrative of, life will give you obstacles, but just keep going on because there's always a silver lining.
Heidi,
you can actually play that one for me.
I have to run, Heidi. Lovely chatting to you. You know that you remain my favorite through and through. All the best. And you are South Africa's favorite, Heidi Jokos. 3 minutes to 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
Ubomi Abumanga, Heidi Choko's favorite song. Thanks very much for joining us and indulging us in the past few hours, 3 hours or so. Stephen Grotes is back with you between 6 and 8. Enjoy and stick around. Stay on 702. Have a good evening.
And now, The Money Show
with Stephen Grotes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app
and DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grotes is brought to you by Absa Group and DHL Go Trade. African SMEs are now closer to global markets. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, Cell C has a strong year and seems to have made headway in the ultra-competitive prepaid segment, but warns longer rollovers for your data bundles will impact it in the future. We'll look at the future of mobile virtual network operators across the continent. Jacob Mashokwa revs his engine for the Festival of Motoring. And don't forget, your Friday Biz Blitz. All of that to come, but first, the very latest Eyewitness News.